It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the best show you'll ever know, the Dep Lewis Show, episode 86. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, July 21st, 2024. A great day for a podcast about video games and much more, so that is the plan. So welcome to the show. Hope you've been doing great out there in the world. Hope everything's been going your way. Hope everything's been coming up roses. And insert other really good positive phrases here. But, welcome to the show. So I want to ask you to do some things right off the top here. So please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. So find the best place to listen weekly. And if you'd like to support the show more so than just listening, patreon.com/DepLewisShow is available. If you'd like to subscribe monthly and get some additional benefits over there. And then also Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available for direct payment or donation to the podcast. And I appreciate any and all support and just thank you for being here today for the show. That's the main thing. So let's talk about that. So the show today is going to be 3 sections as always. The first section will be what video games I've been playing since I last talked to you on this microphone. The middle section or the mid section will be video game news, happenings, releases, all that sort of jazz. So the mid section is definitely the most informative section of this show. And then the third section is the Miscellaneous Talk section where I can talk about anything I want to outside of the video game world. So I have one extra thing to get in there in that section today, but we're going to get into the worldwide world of sports as we always do in the Miscellaneous Talk section and tell you what's going on with all my favorite teams. So that is the plan for this episode 86. And we are going to get right into it. So what have I been playing on the video game front? So the main game I am playing right now, and this is the top tier of my video game list of what I'm playing. So this one, someone's got to come knock it out of the spot. This one is the one I'm thinking about the most. I'm trying to go play most of the time, and that is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So that is a 2024 release. I haven't played too many of those this year, so it's very exciting to get into one of those, and it is living up to the hype. So I just finished Final Fantasy VII Remake a couple weeks ago, and I moved on to this. Final Fantasy VII Remake is definitely one of my favorite games ever, and I've tried to hear minimal spoilers about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, besides just kind of general reactions. I think people on podcasts do a good job of like siphoning off the spoilers. So a lot of times they'll just say, hey, this has been really fun. Here's the kind of high level things I like. And I heard so many good things about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth across the board. So I was very excited. I heard a lot of, if you like Final Fantasy VII Remake, you're going to love Rebirth. And that is the case early on. And I think some of these sections early on in Rebirth are hitting higher highs than any of the areas in Remake even. So I think they took the time to develop the world out. And I don't know, I guess I don't have the Final Fantasy VII knowledge, but the part that's sticking out to me now is I'm in the grassland. So I've made the escape from Calm. Things go down. They try to come arrest all of us pretty much. They tried to, it's Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, Barrett, and Red 13. And we're all in the city trying to, just have a little moment of calm after some craziness. And Shinra rolls up and tries to get us. So we get the help from, I think his name was Broden. He's apparently a pretty main character, but he was very nice and very suspicious. I don't think he works for Avalanche, but he was kind of helping Avalanche. I need to learn a little bit more about him, and I think I will. But he helped us get out of the city, and he even said at kind of the last second, I almost wanted to turn you in instead and don't give me any more time to think. So just interesting as always. All the side characters in this game have been awesome. All the characters that flesh out the world in this game are just very colorful and cool, and they all have very distinct personalities and just interesting. And it all blends together so well. It's nothing too serious, It's just they blend some things together very well in this game, and I guess across this whole series. But I'm in the grasslands now, so you escape the city, and I'm in the grasslands, and it's so you don't want to say phrases like this, but it's like visually stunning. It looks just so good, and the grass is just you want to walk around and look at things. I took some photos in that area. I walked around just all the random corners, so it just kind of felt like a return to a little bit of olden times for me for video gaming, where you're really not just trying to push and focus on progressing forward. That's not something I do too often, and just the basic scenery in this game is really calling me to just walk around and look at it. So it's been really, really cool and very interesting. So there's some different things across the world, and you're rolling with your whole crew. You can pick 2 people to roll right with you. So I have Tifa and Aerith going with me. I don't know if I'm going to change that up, but I have Barrett and Red 13 in the back line. So I like that there are more than two people rolling with me, but it's like a designated front and back line. And then when you get into battle, all the characters pop up. So it's really the combat in this game. Or I was about to say it's a really another notch in the combat belt for this game. And my note here says I love the combat so much in this game, and I've been being more active with the combat after playing Crisis Core some. So it's got me, toughening up a little bit and playing the combat as it's intended instead of the auto combat. So it's been really fun, and the combat encounters are some of the most fun parts of this game, and then the exploratory story options are some of the other equally good portions. So I think that's something I really love in video games. I think that's why I've touted Last of Us 2 as being my favorite video game of all time. It's the blend of gameplay that's really, really fun, and the story, and then the visuals. So it's all those three things together and doing that very well. I know that's kind of what most video games are doing, but I think these type of games do it the best. And I think Final Fantasy VII Remake was one of those games as well, where the gameplay is extremely fun. Like I'm saying, the story, the characters, the narrative, and then the music in Final Fantasy is something that really takes it over the top for me. But the combat in this game is super fun, and that's not something I'm normally into. I'm realizing there's not many games I'm really focusing on high level combat. I kind of lean more towards the platformer side if I'm trying to be good at something. So I think maybe more of my strengths in video gaming would be platformers or possibly like sports games, or maybe some racing games. And then if you get into the combat kind of stuff, I don't know if that's my immediate expertise. So that's something I'm definitely kind of realizing a little bit as I go through this video game podcast journey about what I like and dislike. But that is some of the stuff. And I think Final Fantasy VII is highlighting a lot of things I like about video games. And then Rebirth being the newest and latest and greatest iteration of Final Fantasy it's been really, really fun to play. And I'm just excited that I have I think I'm 4 hours in. So I have, 50 hours probably at least to go to finish this game up. And then I'm going to be in the same boat as everybody waiting on the third iteration of this game. But it's really, really fun. I'm focusing more on equipment and materia this time. I'm doing some more menu searching, been taking my time. So yeah, I guess that's kind of my theme for this game right now. It's pretty much, or it is the main game in my arsenal. It's a new 2024 game, so it's serving me well to have something new. And I love to rank the games each year, so this one's going to be going up the list pretty high immediately. But this game is doing some great things. I'm really, really enjoying it, and you're going to be hearing about it for a long time on this show until I can finish it. I don't know how it's going to go. Final Fantasy VII is one of the first, or it is the first Final Fantasy game I've ever completed. One of the first RPGs I've ever completed besides some old Xbox ones. And I'm just having a great time with it. So I'm going to be telling you about it on the show a lot. So just be prepared for more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth talk in the future for sure. All right. So the other games, so I've been talking about this in my main game. I like to have some other games going, but not too many because I can get sidetracked. But I think I'm throwing down the video game gauntlet, the video game challenge a little bit here. I'm going to have a little bit of adrenaline or mojo going in me after finishing Final Fantasy VII Remake. I feel pretty accomplished in that small feat, but it is a feat for myself. So I think I'm going to finish the Zelda game. I think that is one of the only other pretty big white whales of my video gaming backstory. I've played mostly every Zelda game and I've never completed one. So I've been thinking about how to go about this, and I think I've landed on I'm going to try to finish The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So the most recent release, I have around 65 to 70 hours in this game already. I've dusted off my save file yesterday. I completed some shrines. I did 3 or 4 shrines. I have a couple more unmarked that I've marked on my map that I haven't completed because I'm a wuss. I like to find the shrines and then not actually go in them. So I've been making some progress on the shrines, and I'm going to really try to finish this game. There's no reason I can't. It won Game of the Year on the Dep Lewis Show because I do love it so much. I've had so much fun with it. I don't have anything bad to say about it. And there's plenty of guides online when I get stuck on anything, so I can look it up. I have no excuses there. So I'm going to really, really make an effort to complete a Zelda game. And I would like to complete a Zelda game before purchasing another Zelda game, which is The Legend of Zelda, I think Echoes of Wisdom? I can't believe I'm blanking on the name, but the Echoes game that comes out in September, that is the game starring Zelda. And rumored now more recently that it's going to actually have some Link in the game too. So sounding very, very cool. It's a top-down game and something I'm definitely interested in, but I need to get this Zelda monkey off my back. So I'm going to try to complete Tears of the Kingdom. I picked kind of a long game to beat, but I've already made significant progress in it. So I think that's kind of the good balancing out. I've completed the Wind Temple. I've made some progress on the the Gorons up there in the fire, and I've made some progress with the Zora. So I think I think there's 4 main Divine Beast again, and I made some good progress on 3 out of the 4. So I'm doing okay. I have a good bit of hearts. I'm a little bit surprised by that. And I think I've made some good progress in this game. I've kind of been messing around for many of my hours, so I need to get focused in a little bit and try to complete these shrines, and that is my main goal. So you're going to be hearing some more Zelda talk on here. That's been my challenge. That's my challenge I'm laying out to myself. I don't know how quickly I would complete this. I would love to complete it before September, but you never know. But if I need to complete a Zelda game is the main thing here, so that is the mission here on the Dep Lewis Show. So you're going to hear more about that. I started last week. I pulled out my 3DS and was going to play some Ocarina or Link Between Worlds, and I started doing some of that. So that could be the only other change up you hear me make. But my goal is to complete a Zelda game, and I have plenty of them already, and so I need to complete one. And the one I have on my top of my list right now is Tears of the Kingdom that I think I'm going to try. So that's the plan. You heard it here first on the Dep Lewis Show. So something else I picked up, another game I think that I'm going to take a new stab at is Pokemon Sword. I restarted this. In order to delete your save, so on my OG Switch, that wasn't an OLED, that was where I played Pokemon Sword. I probably played 30 hours of it. I think I completed the 8 gyms and then didn't do anything past that. So I don't have that save file anymore. When I got my OLED, I started a new file at some point, within the last couple of years. I was 30 minutes into that file. I wanted to rename the character and redo the character, so I restarted it. And for that, you have to go into the menus on the actual Switch in the settings and delete your save data for Pokemon Sword. There's no way to do it in menu in the Pokemon game in Pokemon Sword, so just so you know that you have to go to the menu if you want to delete your save. And now I've done that, and I'm about 30 minutes in, 40 minutes in, just got to the start, and I have a new character going. I picked Sobble, and I'm going to try to play some Pokemon. That was another thing when I busted my 3DS out, talking about those Zelda games. I was like, man, I should play a Pokemon game. I was doing some research on what the best ones on 3DS were, and then I just decided, hey, I got all these games on the Switch, the new modern versions. Even if some people prefer the old versions, the new ones have some merit too, and maybe just a good entry point. No reason they're not good games or not the ones to try. So I'm just back playing these on the Switch now is what I've decided, and I'm playing Pokemon Sword. And I actually have the DLC for Pokemon Sword, so that could add some additional fun to it. I would be into buying Scarlet or Violet if I heard better things, but I did a little bit of internet research on that, and those games still seem to be in a bad state technically, and I'm not really into that. I was kind of wishing there would be some update that would make that game better in a lot of people's minds, but it seems like a lot of people are just kind of pushing through and having to look over some things to actually play that game, and there is some enjoyment to be had there, but we don't have to. We can choose how to spend our time out here in this world for the most part, or in these kind of cases, you can choose how to spend your time, and you want to choose it wisely. So I'm trying some Pokemon Sword, and I'll just keep you updated on that. That could be a game I play for a long time. I really do love some Pokemon. I don't know if I've ever completed a Pokemon game either. That could be something. It's not as, I don't know if that one's as true, because I kind of think I did complete most of Sword, or I think I saw credits, and then I probably completed maybe one back in the day, but not too many. I haven't completed one in a long time, and it would be a good game to just get back going and have the mix of Pokemon going and see what's up and be a little more up to date on Pokemon. So playing some Pokemon Sword. So those are the 3 video games I'm playing. The main one you'll keep hearing about for sure is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's my main game. I'm gonna try to tackle this section a little bit that way. So I'm gonna always have a top tier game, hopefully the main one, and let you know about that and kind of keep that in my mind as the top game I'm trying to tackle. And so that one's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And then I have my little challenge kind of game, which is to complete a Zelda game. So I have Tears of the Kingdom going right now. And then Pokemon Sword, that's really just kind of like a have fun game. No really particular plans there, but just something else I've thrown in my rotation and I wanted to tell you about. So I guess that's kind of a good way to break it down. This show's always evolving over time of what I do, but this is the plan right now, and this is how I'm trying to tackle some video games. So those are the 3 games I'm playing at the moment. And this is the year of the RPG on the Dep Lewis Show. You've heard me talk about finishing Final Fantasy VII Remake and bragging about that and being happy about it. So the year of the RPG is going very well. It's just a game where I have just a year where I have additional focus on a genre, and that genre this year is RPG, and to explore RPGs and just look at them more, watch more videos, try them out, and would love to finish a lot of them, but I'm just not the quickest video gamer. But I've been having fun with Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is my top game right now. And my other current RPG options that I'm mulling around are Super Mario RPG Remake, which I was giving myself grief about finishing, but I'm just going to kind of put it on the back burner. I don't know if it's the best tactic to have multiple RPGs going at the same time for myself. So I'm going to try that out a little bit and just see how that goes for making progress. I also have Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door remake, which I'd like to play after I complete Super Mario RPG one day. And then I have Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. So I've been having a whole lot of fun with that game. That's kind of one I'm just going to tackle sporadically or hop back into, but it's been really, really fun in that game, and I have that game on Switch. So that's pretty fun to be able to play some Final Fantasy VII. It's pretty similar to the combat. There's a lot of similarities to the modern, the remake and Rebirth in that game, and it's pretty cool to be playing that on handheld. And it's not going to be as fully fleshed out or functional or as good, but I mean it's definitely a fun way to play, and it's doing some of the same things. So something I really, really enjoyed about it. And so those are the main games in my RPG options. I have other RPGs in my backlog, which I was going to list here, but I think I'm trying to be a little bit more focused these days. So that's the plans this year of the RPG. It's been halfway through the year of the RPG, and I think it's getting up there as, if you had to ask me what my favorite genre of video games would be, I think it's getting up there. I think it would have to be that. At some point in my history it would be platformers. At some point it would be shooters. At some point it would be, I don't know, maybe like a multiplayer kick, I guess you could say, but I don't think it's ever been RPGs really, minus I was talking about playing Fallout 3 or Skyrim or Oblivion and Morrowind. Those are kind of my first introduction to some RPGs, but I think of these Final Fantasy 7s, and they're a little bit different, more traditional, but hey, we're diving into it here. That's the whole purpose of this. So that's going to wrap up the first section of the show where I tell you about what I've been playing. So thank you for listening to that, and I'll be back next week to tell you about all the games I've been playing in this upcoming week. So probably be a little bit of the same, but you never know. I'm a little bit of a wild card out here with what I like to play and what I get into, but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the main one. So we're going to take a quick break, give you time to go reheat your coffee or do something like that. It's 10 a.m. in the morning here on this Sunday morning, so you're going to get the podcast out early and then watch some baseball later today. So hopefully you'll be listening to this in real time. So we're going to wrap up the first section of the show, and we're going to come back for the mid-section where I tell you about everything going on around the video game world, so you don't want to miss it. So go take a quick break and come back to the Dep Lewis Show after this music. Welcome back to the mid-section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 86. This is where I tell you about what's going on around the video game world, all the news and happenings and interesting things that you need to know, so let's get right into it. So the first game is something that I was making fun of a couple weeks ago, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. I was just talking about how there's so many Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games, and it's a little bit hard to keep up with what each one is doing. But this one is the roguelike action one. So this one released last week on July 17, 2024 for Nintendo Switch. It'll cost you $29.99 US. And the back of the box talk on this one is brace yourself for fast-paced, roguelike action where no two runs are the same. With randomized power-ups, room layouts, and boss modifiers, the excitement never ends. Take control of all 4 turtles, each wielding unique powers, and team up with your friends for a bodacious co-op gameplay. Explore iconic New York City locations, upgrade your turtle powers, and prepare to face off against formidable enemies. So this one, I kind of have a little bit, in my mind, written off roguelikes for the time being. I've played too many of them, maybe a little bit burned down on them, and every franchise is kind of doing them. But this is a game that came from mobile, and I've actually, all the kind of review stuff I've seen online about this have been positive. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, I've been making fun of the Turtles a little bit, but I am a Turtle fan, and I am a roguelike fan, so this could be up my alley. I've heard some comparisons to Hades. It's doing a little bit of Hades with Ninja Turtle stuff, so that was another good selling point that I heard about this. So definitely something interesting to check out. If you have mobile, maybe check it out on there if you're into mobile gaming. It's not something I'm necessarily into, but there's an option for you there, and that's where this came from, so it's going to have some merits there. But I just wanted to let you know that this is actually sounding pretty good. I was being a little bit down on the announcement of it, and it sounds like it might be pretty good. So go check out the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. All right, something else that has been released, and I have done the back and forth of if I should purchase this or not, or try it out, because I've heard good things about this. Another one, just telling you right out front that I've heard good things about Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. So this is a new game that is out on Nintendo Switch. This also released last week. It came out July 18th, 2024, so it's available right now. This one was on Apple Arcade before and is coming to Steam. Oh no, I mixed up my notes right there. That was my notes for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But this game is also $29.99 US, so the same price as the one I mentioned earlier. And there's also a special edition of this one for, I think it's $60, $59.99 US dollars. And that gets you, it's a pretty cool package. And I saw that some GameStops had them in stock actually. So if you are a definite purchaser of this game, maybe check out for the deluxe edition. It's, the price of a normal game, and it has some cool stuff with it. It comes with a cool looking NES cartridge that you can stand up. So if you're into displaying stuff or collecting, I think it could be a really cool one to get. So go, double check that. But this game is out right now. The back of the box talk on this game is test your speedrunning skills across more than 150 challenging moments from 13 classic NES games. So compete against players around the world online, challenge your friends on the couch, or try to see how far you can push your personal best. So they mentioned in there, compete against players around the world online. I don't know, I guess there's some online challenge stuff in there, but the main complaint from this is I've heard there's no online leaderboards. So there's no leaderboard showing you against your friends' scores or against the world, I guess. So I don't know what they mean by compete against other players around the world online. So everything I've heard about this game is all the games are fun. The speedrunning's fun, the challenges are fun, all that kind of stuff. Controlling, getting to play some old games, maybe getting introduced to some games you haven't played before. It's all been fun, but I think the missing leaderboards thing is a pretty big deal, and hopefully that can be some feedback they receive and get updated quickly. I don't know how quickly you can put something like that into a video game, but that seems pretty basic for a game like this where it's all about speedrunning and you're trying to get a tenth of a second off your score most of the time. So that would be the perfect thing to see what your friends are doing or what people across the world are doing. So that's been a pretty strange thing to leave out of there. So I don't know. That was something that it's not the coffin in the nail, but it's a pretty good thing that would keep you wanting to play this game more and more, besides just trying to beat your own score, which you're probably going to have a pretty finite score at some point, or you're probably not, you can only push yourself so far. Unless you were playing with other people a lot, then you would really be having differing scores and trying to level up and things like that. So it just kind of, this being an arcade style game, that's kind of just how it works, I guess. But let's see, what else are they telling you about this game? Do you have what it takes to be a champion? The tougher challenges may truly test your limits. And I watched some video. I'm trying to read my notes here. Hearing some complaints about leaderboard. We talked about that. Maybe something I like here because of the speed to play. And yeah, I do like running through like Mario platformer levels, trying to be very quick. And that could be something that I like about this. It could be a good introduction to other games or help with skills in games such as Zelda or Metroid. So I thought about that aspect of it too. This could really help get some really basic skills across a variety of games, which could be good. And I'm just not all the way sold. And I don't know if this would be something I would keep up with, but I've heard very good things. It's $29.99, which is a good price point and something I'll definitely keep an eye on, but not purchase right away. And the next game I'm about to tell you about as well is in that same category. It's something that I've mentioned here on this show. A lot of people are excited about and hyped for, and that is EA Sports College Football 25. And that game is available right now. So that came out last Friday. It released on the 19th, so July 19th, 2024 for PS5 and Xbox Series X. So this is only a current gen release, so Xbox One and PS4 is left out of here. I guess they were really trying to focus on building a game for the current gen of consoles. This game is $69.99 US dollars for the standard edition, and a lot of people paid the $99.99 beforehand on the pre-order so they could pay 3 days early. I've seen a few things come across like Twitter or whatever, or X, or just news articles saying college football has sold this many games, or this many pre-access games, copies, and it's in the millions. So they made a whole lot of money on this. So I'm sure they have. It seems like this game has been a smashing success for the return to college football. And I've been hearing good things about it. I can't really think of anything too negative I've heard about it. I heard the gameplay is a little bit different from Madden. It's a little more loosey-goosey. You can tell the players aren't professionals. And it just adds a little more, a little more fun is what you would call it, into the game. So I've heard pretty amazing things about this. This game has been very meme-worthy, and people are making TikToks and videos about it, and people saying they lost their boyfriend and all that kind of stuff. So they've really been doing a great job marketing this game, and I think a lot of it's really showing up in the sales, which has been good. So hopefully we'll keep getting some iterations of college football. I don't know if you want one every year. I think that's what they're going to desire to do, but I mean, just thinking through it here on the show, I think that's kind of what bogs down some of these sports releases. So, what if they got on some type of, they're not going to do this, but what if they got on some type of schedule every other year, every 3 years? It kind of makes it a more monumental update. I don't know. They're never going to do that kind of thing, but it is a thought. They could go away for a couple of years because they pretty much do release the same game each year for the most part on these sports releases, and that's a little bit frustrating. costs a lot of money. You hear the same complaints every year about these sports games, so you just kind of wonder if they're ever going to get it right for the consumer. But they have it set up probably the best way for them to make money, and that's what to be expected for the most part. And if they're trying to get your money, they have to have somewhat of a good product out there, unless it's going to be like a really quick cash grab. So at least it sounds like they're putting out a decent product on the field, and that's EA Sports College Football 25. So go check it out. That game's all over the internet. There's tons. You can probably watch some of your favorite people, or if you follow people online, they're probably playing it or talking about it. So that game is very popular. All right, what else we got in the video game news thing going here? So we're going to talk about another game. This is an old game, but it's a franchise I like, and they have put this game onto, you can buy it on PS5 or PS4 now, and that is Ratchet and Clank Size Matters. You can buy this for $9.99 right now, US dollars, on PS5, PS4. It's also included with PlayStation Plus Premium Plus subscription. So if you're a subscriber, I hope that's really what it's called, PlayStation Plus Premium Plus. Yeah, I'm a PlayStation Plus Premium Plus member. So you can play that now in your subscription and in your library. It's an original adventure built from the ground up for the PSP system. So I've had a recent liking for a PSP game, which is Crisis Core, but it was remastered. But this one's just being placed on here. It's enhanced with up rendering, rewind, quick save, and custom video filters. In this game, you can wield weapons, customize your armor, shrink yourself down to discover the new worlds, explore the mysterious Technomite universe, and even journey inside Clank's head. This title has been converted from the PSP version to the PS4 and PS5 consoles and provides newly added features. Consequently, there may be times where the title plays differently from the PSP version. So historians are going to be mad there. Or where some features may cause this title to not function properly. This version does not support the PSP system's peripherals. Therefore, some functionality may not be available. So that was all the talk from the PlayStation page about this game. But this is a Ratchet and Clank game. I think, there's a lot of Ratchet and Clank games available to play on a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, but most of them you have to subscribe to a PlayStation service and stream them. So this is an example of where you can buy one ad hoc for $10, which I like the option. Maybe something I pick up in the future. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is one of my favorite games, and I love the Ratchet and Clank series. It's another one where I haven't completed a game, but I completed Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, so now I feel like I'm a veteran and I can play these games. I kind of have the monkey off my back, and maybe I'll go play this one day and have a great time with it. So Ratchet and Clank Size Matters, something I definitely saw that popped up and thought was cool. So you can go play that right now if you'd like to for $9.99, or if you have a PlayStation Plus Premium Plus subscription. All right, another game I really, really like and had some good updates recently and might get me to jump back into it is Splatoon 3. So that won Game of the Year on the Dep Lewis Show for 2022, and that was a definite home run. That game was a great Game of the Year winner, and I stand by that 100%. So Splatoon 3, I haven't really played it in a while. I like to keep up to date with these things called Splatfests, and there was another one coming up on August 9th. So that one's about a month away at this point if you're listening in real time. So August 9th, 2024 at 5 p.m. Pacific time until August 11th, 2024 at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And they're saying, hope you're ready to work up an appetite. So this Splatfest, or should they say Starch Fest, this time it asks, which would you eat every day, bread, rice, or pasta? So those are all three things I really, really like. And I don't know what team I would immediately pick. So they all have their merits. Bread, you can have a delicious sandwich. You can have something in the morning for breakfast. You can have a breakfast sandwich, rice. You can have any type of stir fry, any type of rice dish, any type of hibachi, sushi. So rice is pretty excellent. And then pasta. Who doesn't love pasta? Growing up, we'd have pasta kind of dinners for like big holidays and things like that. So all have their own merit. If you had to eat one every day, I'm probably having to lean bread if I'm being honest. Maybe rice would be number 2, and then pasta. But there's times of the year when it's really cold, you want some pasta. Rice is definitely, you can eat it any time, or I don't know if you eat it more in the summer, but I don't know. But all great starches. Definitely a starch fan here on the show. And that is the next Splatfest coming in August for Splatoon 3. So that was an announcement. And then something else they announced, which is pretty cool, is they announced the next Splatfest, which has been announced. So this is going to be for the 2-year anniversary of Splatoon 3. So a really, really wonderful game. I highly recommend it. This game won Game of the Year for me based on just the multiplayer alone. I haven't really tried any single player in Splatoon, which is crazy, but I had just a wonderful time playing the multiplayer. And I do probably intend to get back into it. It's something that I haven't played recently, but why not? They're still updating it, and I could still have fun with it. So for the next Splatfest, it's the Grand Festival theme, and it asks, which is most important to you, the past, the present, or the future? And shall we look back on the good old days, stay in the moment, or think of all the possibilities? So I think the most wise one to pick here would probably be the present, because as the cliche says, the present is all we have, and you can't change the past. That's another cliche. And then looking towards the future, you never know what the future is going to hold, so it might not be the best thing to look towards the future. But the teams here are pretty cool. I like that it's asking a philosophical or existential question here. And I think I would have to pick, if you wanted to pick the right one, you might want to pick the present. I think the teams that are in the present playing in the Splatfest will have the best performance on the field because they are focused on their Splatoon gameplay. So team present, team past could just be sad or, trying to relive their glory days. And team future could be thinking about all sorts of crazy scenarios while they're out there, trying to ink up the field. So it could be something to even look at there. Yeah, so that's my two takes. So the two next Splatfest are coming up for Splatoon 3. There's going to be one, it looks like, mid-August, and the next one is going to be mid-September. So pretty good string of things for Splatoon 3. So definitely go check that out. All right, the last thing I want to tell you about was something that Nintendo was teasing last week, or maybe the week prior, and they finally gave us all the information about it. And that game is called Emio. And the full title is Emio, the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club. So this is something, they had a really cool teaser trailer, a little survival horror-y looking. It had an M rating on it, so everyone's wondering what Nintendo was doing here. And then I kind of heard that I wasn't familiar with this franchise, and I heard a little bit of disappointment about that across the internet, but I really don't have too much knowledge of the franchise. I think what I've seen from this game looks pretty cool. I don't know if it'll be an immediate purchase for me or a purchase for me, but I think it's something I'd like to see more about for sure. I'm a little bit of a wuss. As I discovered last year was the year of survival horror on the Dep Lewis Show, and I don't think it might be a genre that I'm going to leave behind. But for Emio, the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club, this is the first new Famicom. Yeah, I keep saying that wrong. It's Famicom. I don't know. Let me look that up. I don't want to be stupid. I never had a Famicom. Famicom video games. Famicom. So Famicom with an M. So that's based on the name of the system. So let's see here. So the back of the box talk on this game is investigate a crime and unmask the truth in a dark, twisted thriller. A student has been found dead in a chilling fashion, his head covered with a paper bag with an eerie smiling face drawn on it. This unsettling visage bears a striking resemblance to a recurring clue in a string of unsolved murders from 18 years ago, as well as Emio, the Smiling Man, a killer of urban legend who is said to grant his victims a smile that will last forever. So that is definitely very creepy, because in the teaser trailer you see the bag over the head with a creepy smile on it, and that is a very creepy thing to grant your victims with. But this is some survival horror stuff, I guess. Play the role of an assistant private investigator with Utsugi Detective Agency, where you are tasked with helping police solve this crime. Along the way, scrutinize the clues and testimonies you gather for potential connections to the gruesome events of the past. Has a serial killer returned, or is this the work of a copycat? Are these crimes inspired by the Smiling Man, or the origin of it? These answers and more will be discovered as you investigate Emio, the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club. So pretty cool. I don't know if that's my cup of tea, but I think they did a great job marketing this game, and hopefully they will execute on the game being fun. So Emio, the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club launches on August 29th, 2024 for Nintendo Switch. So the mystery on what that game is solved, and now the next mystery will be if the game is good or not. So I'll definitely be back to tell you about it. Whether or not I purchase it I'll tell you about what I'm hearing across the internet about some Emio. So that's going to wrap up all the video game news for this week that I got for you. So we talked about some releases of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate, Nintendo World Championships NES Edition, EA Sports College Football 25. So those are all new releases that are available right now as of last week. And then we talked about Ratchet and Clank Size Matters coming to PlayStation 4 and 5, so you can buy that game. It's an old PSP game, and you can now buy it on its own for $9.99, so that's some news there. We talked about the next two Splatoon 3 Splatfest coming in mid-August and mid-September. And then we talked about the mystery of what Emio was. And they released the full title and given some more information. It's Emio, the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club. So that's all the video game news I have for you this week. That's going to wrap up the midsection, and we're going to take one final break. And we're going to come back for the Miscellaneous Talk section of the show after that. So, thank you for listening to this news. Hopefully you found something cool there, a new game to talk about, or a new game to go try out. And that is the goal. So listen to this music, and we're going to come back for the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 86 after this. welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 86. This is the Miscellaneous Talk section where I can talk about anything I want to outside of the video game world. So, first thing I want to tell you about was just a monumental episode of a podcast or a live show of Kill Tony. So, it's something I've talked about in the past. It's a live show that you can watch on YouTube every Monday night. It is shot right now in Austin, Texas it's Tony Hinchcliffe and Brian Redband. And they put on a show. It's about an hour or two long, I guess, maybe 2 hours, maybe sometimes longer. Where the whole premise is they have comedians who are, it's like an open mic. They want to put their name in a bucket and have the chance to get pulled out to come do 60 seconds of comedy uninterrupted on stage. So they go up there and they do 60 seconds of comedy, whatever it may be, however good or bad it may be. And then Tony and Red Band in the panel, they have big time guests and comedians, all sorts of different types of people that'll be on there, and they get to critique them, get to ask them questions, get to just, go back and forth with them, talk however they suit for a great show. So just a really, really awesome show. Happens every Monday night. It's definitely one of the things I look forward to on YouTube the most. It's something I'd probably watch mostly every night on Monday. And if not, I'm trying to find time on Tuesday to watch it. So it's a really amazing show. I highly recommend it. I've been watching it for some years now, and they've had their most successful episode last Monday. So just want to bring that up on here and try to, I don't think Kill Tony needs more fans, but if you haven't heard of it, please go check it out. It's very, very fun, very, very funny. And their most recent episode had Shane Gillis and Adam Ray playing Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And they do a wonderful, masterful job of imitating those two men. And they do a great job of making jokes on both of them. So it was just really, really, really fun. They were making Tony and Red Band laugh harder than I've ever seen. And I think they've even said that. You could just tell it was a special thing happening, and their improv and off-the-cuff acting and being in character was just really, really amazing and something worth watching. And you kind of just wish it was Shane and Adam Ray going back and forth the whole time, but the whole show is epic. The way the show's set up allowed for them to be so great, like it really does. That show is an amazing thing, and Shane and Adam adding to it was just really, really special. So this was episode number 672. It had 8 million views when I checked yesterday, so in the first couple of days it shot up there to 5 million views, which their highest video was like 5.2 million, I believe it was, and I think this was 5.3 right after. And so it's already got to 8 million views. This is really, really, really going crazy for Kill Tony and them. So just congratulations to them, and it's worthy of all the views. It's really, really hilarious. So their highest viewed video now by more than 3 million, and it's still counting. So I just wrote, it's so damn funny. Congrats to them, and go check out some Kill Tony, and it's just a wonderful show. And I'll be checking in next Monday, no matter what the guest. It's always so funny. All right, so let's get into the worldwide world of sports. Tell you what's going on with all my favorite teams, and keep you updated with all these guys. So the Carolina Panthers, the only thing going on there, we're getting close to some training camp stuff going on. So maybe I'll get to go watch some training camp or some preseason. But the Panthers' first preseason game, so I just want to get some schedule stuff going here, is at the Patriots August 8th, 2024 at 7 p.m. So first, that's less than a month away, so they'll be playing some football. So that's pretty cool. And their first home preseason game, so in Charlotte, is versus the Jets August 17th, 2024. So I'm a North Carolina resident, so I could possibly attend some of these games. And I did go to some preseason last year, but we'll see. I'll see. It's nice to have the option. So, and then the Panthers open the season at New Orleans September 8th, 2024. And then the first home game in Charlotte is versus the Chargers September 15th. So, pretty much August and September, the football train is rolling. And that's pretty exciting stuff right there. So, as well with the Splatfest we talked about from the last section. But so that's what's going on with the Panthers. No other really big Panthers news. I think Vegas has them winning 5 games. I don't know if they're going to achieve that, but I definitely have the hopes, and I'll be interested to watch either way, and hopefully we'll have some success this year, see some growth, really, really see Bryce step up and kind of take over that role for sure, and that would be nice. So we'll see. That's the Carolina Panthers update. Charlotte Hornets update, nothing too much there. I'm just a fan of them now since I live in North Carolina and can see some games, but nothing really new to report with the Hornets. The Hawks are my favorite team, the Atlanta Hawks, and the only really news there I've been seeing some Clint Capella trade rumors saying Clint Capella's back on the trade block, and I don't, this is negative, but I don't appear to know what the Hawks are doing with the roster. I really don't have a clue. It doesn't really make sense from the outside looking in, and I don't think it makes sense from the inside looking out, or whatever way you look at it, but I think they do have a logjam with the big men. They have Okongwu and Capella kind of doing the same thing. It's nice to have both. They're paying Capella a lot of money. Are they blowing the roster up? Are they not blowing the roster up? What are they doing? I really don't know. And I don't know if they know either. So I guess they're just figuring it out. And, Hawks need to get together, and that would be my talks there. I'm a fan of the Panthers who need to get it together. I'm a fan of the Hawks who need to get it together. And I'm a fan of the Atlanta Braves. That's the last team I want to tell you about. And the Braves, they might be getting it together. And the Braves are the apple of my sports eye right now for sure. But the Atlanta Braves, so what's been going on with them? It was a week of a break of baseball, so that was kind of sad. Let's see. Last Sunday, the Braves were playing the Padres. And let's see. I don't remember if they won or not. Let's look that up. Did the Braves win last Sunday against the Padres? I think they did to close it out before All-Star, but let's see here. Yep, they won 6-3 against the Padres last Sunday. So that was the last game I haven't talked about here on this show. And then the Braves, they had the All-Star break. So Monday, Tuesday of last week was the All-Star break. Monday was the Derby. So that happened on July 15th. And Teoscar Hernandez from the Dodgers beat Bobby Witt Jr. from the Royals to win the Derby. Ozuna lost early. I had a bet going with friend of the show, Pab, Ozuna versus Adolis Garcia. And he won the Adolis. Adolis did better than Ozuna in the first round, so lost a bet there and lost a little bit of interest after Ozuna goes out early, so that kind of was a bummer. The All-Star game took place on Tuesday, July 16th. The AL won, which I believe they've been doing a whole lot recently, and over the course of history, they won 5-3, and I didn't really watch too much of the All-Star game. It's sometimes fun to see the players, but this is more of a break from baseball, so I was trying to kind of take a break with baseball too. So the Braves... So after, the Tuesday, the All-Star game, the World of Baseball was on break till Friday, which was a long break. I know about Thursday evening, I was like, man, I really wish I had some baseball to watch. I'm really missing this. So it was nice to have a couple days off, just like with anything. Nice to have a little bit of a break, but was starting to miss it and glad to have it back. And was excited for Friday, but then guess what? The Braves game gets rained out on Friday, so pretty disappointing return to baseball. I got to watch some other games, which was nice though, and have had no luck recently in July on the betting front. I'm down for the month of July, so that's no good. And I've been having really, really bad luck. So I'm on a pretty big cold streak, but I'm still shooting with a couple. I got a 3-legger today and a 2-legger, so I'm trying something. I'm not really down too much, so still trying to try to salvage something for July and see what I can do. But we'll see. I'll keep you updated there if I have any great wins, but I don't have any advice to offer on the sportsbook front. That's for sure at this moment. I may have had some previously or felt like I did, but it has gone cold. So on the baseball break, the Braves got rained out Friday, but that allowed for a doubleheader yesterday, which was really nice. And the Braves won the first game against the Cardinals 3-2, and then the Braves lost the second game 5-9, which was kind of a bummer. The Braves were down early. They made a nice comeback. They had 3 bombs back to back to back. Riley, Ozuna, and Rosario in one inning, so that was pretty amazing. They just couldn't. They got them right back in the mix. I think it was 6-5 at that point, and then the Cardinals tacked on those few runs. I think it was in the top of the ninth. They tacked those few on, so it was kind of a bummer. But the Braves, they looked pretty good. It was nice to see the home runs going out. They were hitting those off Sonny Gray, and nice to see Eddie Rosario get one. And I don't know. We'll see. This is the All-Star break. I think the Braves really needed that. I think the broadcast was mentioning they need to add a starting pitcher and an outfielder, and I think that is very true. They were saying the Cardinals are kind of in the same mix, maybe a little more desperate than the Braves, and I agree with that, but I think those are the two needs. The Braves need to make a move. I think Money Mike is about to come back pretty soon, so I think that's nice. Kelenic has been a really, really great addition for the Braves. I think that's been a pretty underrated signing for them. He's been really, really great. He's got some crazy wheels. I saw him get a triple yesterday. I saw him make a good play in the outfield. I saw Adam Duvall make a good play in the outfield, so they're at least holding it down. But I think they should go out and get one of these outfielders out there, and that would be my hope. And if they can find a pitcher in there, maybe even a veteran, I think that would be smart. But I think, go pay some money and go get an outfielder. That would be my advice to the Braves. So the Braves play the Cards again today at 1:35. And then next week, the Braves are at home in Atlanta versus the Reds to start the week, Monday through Wednesday. And the second part of the week, Thursday through Sunday, they are in New York versus the Mets. So the Reds and the Mets, the Braves should be getting a lot of wins over those games, and hopefully can sweep the Mets would be nice. So those are my baseball hopes. So that's everything going on with my sports teams right now. I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's really, really about it. So really excited for the baseball being back. It's been nice watching that. Had a wonderful day watching the baseball yesterday, and I am excited for the second half of the season. And, just lucky to have more baseball to watch in a whole nother half. So love some baseball. Definitely my favorite sport in the entire world, and looking forward to watching the Braves get hot here to start the second half. Maybe make a trade to upgrade the roster, get some guys back healthy, and just make a good postseason run. I don't want to see any early flameouts. I want to see a good run, so that's my hope. So that's everything I have to talk to you about, the miscellaneous stuff today. I told you about the latest and greatest, most great episode of Kill Tony with Shane and Adam Ray, Shane Gillis and Adam Ray on there, so go check that out, and go check out Kill Tony every week. Watch the old catalog. That's just a really, really fun, great show to watch. We talked about all my favorite teams in the sports world, the Carolina Panthers, the Charlotte Hornets, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Braves. Going to watch some Braves today, and I think you should too. So that's going to wrap up the entire show. So just thank you for listening. I want to reiterate some promotional talk from the beginning, so please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of this show, the Dep Lewis Show, available anywhere you can find a podcast, so find the perfect place to listen each week. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. So if you can name it, it should be there and available for you to listen. If you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, patreon.com/DepLewisShow is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly and get some additional benefits. And then also Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available for direct payment or donation. Same kind of thing. And, I appreciate any and all support. And I appreciate you just listening to the show the most. Thank you for being a listener of the show. What do I want to say? I hope you have a great week out there in the world. I hope some extra lucky things happen to you. I hope you have a good week. And hopefully I will over here too. And I'll be back next week to tell you about it. So, thank you for being a Dep Lewis Show listener. And I'll talk to you next time. Be back next week for another episode of the Dep Lewis Show.